Hi, I'm Dorothée Marocero. I'm here to present to you my latest creation, Fearlessly Yourself, a 12-week transformational program for women to elevate their consciousness within and connected to a healthy, vital body to create the most wholesome, authentic life they're dreaming of. Welcome. I'm very grateful and honored that you're listening to this presentation today. Thank you. First, I would like to start with a few questions. So I'd like you to close your eyes, maybe bring your hand to the heart, and just take a few deep breaths here. Just feeling the air coming in your nostrils, the belly expanding, and on the exhale, the belly coming in, the air coming out, a little bit warmed up by the body. Starting to connect deeply into yourself, your heart. Feeling the connection with the earth, either through your feet or the gravity pulling you down towards Mother Earth. And with each inhale and exhale, feeling more and more relaxed and more connected to yourself, your true self, your authentic self. And from that state, I like to ask you a few questions. The first one being how? How are you? No, really, how are you? How are your relationship? How are your relationships with your friends, partner, kids? How would you rate the depth of those relationships? How would you rate your health, your vitality? How would you rate the meaning, the passion you have in your career? How much joy and fun do you have in your life? If you're not exactly where you'd like to be, why? Why is that? Why is that in that some areas you're not where you would like to be? Why not take the time to figure out why? To discover yourself, to breathe. Why not take the time to connect deeply to yourself, to your needs? When did you start disconnected from your needs? When did you start disconnecting from it, from those? When did you start putting others' expectation before yours? When did you start trusting and caring about opinions of others more than your own? When did you start believing your emotions were not valid? When did you start believing you were not good enough? When will you start trusting yourself? When will you start connecting with your own needs and bringing your authentic self out to the world? Are you ready for it? Are you ready to become untamedly, wholesomely, fearlessly yourself? I am Dorothée Marocero. And before I start digging into the program, I like to start introducing myself, my journey, because this whole program is about that journey. So I was born in France in a loving but normally dysfunctional family, in a society that was normally patriarchal, French society in the 80s. And I was born full of life, full of energy. My father called me Little Tiger, and I felt like one. I felt full of energy. I felt I could say my truth. I was expressing it. I was expressing myself. I felt alive. But quickly, I started to tame myself, to tame my tiger. I didn't have a very good role model as men or as women. I saw a lot of women being demeaned by men, including my own mother. I saw a society that was valuing the masculine aspect of people more than the feminine ones. So I started to really create this persona that I was going to become that perfect woman and show the world that women could do everything, anything that men could do. So I went to study engineering. I moved to the US, completing a master in science. I was always on the go. I was doing sports. I was engineering during the day. I was working in a jazz club at night. In between, I was rock climbing. I was running. I was horseback riding. I didn't have 1 minute to sit still with myself. The truth is that I couldn't sit with myself. I didn't like myself so much. I couldn't really look deep into the pain buried inside. I couldn't look into myself. And in the midst of all that, so I was not really happy. I was quite depressed in a life that seemed quite perfect from the outside, but there was definitely a restlessness inside. I was going from relationship to relationship. They were not fulfilling or unhealthy. And in the midst of all that, my mother died. So I went back to France for a few months to be with her in her last moments. And obviously, it was a very challenging, traumatic time. And in some way, it was my wake-up call. I started to ask myself about the meaning of life, about what I wanted to do, and where I wanted to spend my breath. So I started to really clear my life from toxic things I was doing. And I also started to search into the reason why she would get sick. And I did a lot of research into nutrition and what we eat and how it was grown and the impact of the way today's agricultural system works and the pesticides and the way we eat and the way it's grown. And so a big link between potential issue for our health. I also looked into the effect of exercise. So I did start to exercise more and eat healthier. And I started to feel a lot better. I cleaned out a lot of relationships that were not working for me. I was in a better place. I went to do an MBA in Singapore, a Master of Business and Administration, then moved to Brussels, where I met my beautiful husband, which on the picture, it's November. That's why he has a mustache that I'm not necessarily liking, but I like the fact that he's supporting a cause, a beautiful cause in November. But so I met my beautiful husband there, a man that showed me was what love was, a man that got me to trust men again, showed me that there were men out there that were loving and respectful and heartful and true, and that we're able to sit and cry. And so with that, I really regained a lot of love and trust and for men. And since then, I met a lot of men that I could put in that category. And I'm very grateful for all the men out there that are showing up. And so we were married within 1 year of meeting and had our first kid within 2 years. And we moved to Australia. And then after a few years of trying to conceive our second kid, I started really digging into the mind, because I went to a holistic program where we did nutrition. I did some acupuncture and other modalities, but I started meditating as well. And I started to pick up my yoga practice. And what I saw is the effect of the mind on health, on mood, on vitality, on pretty much everything in life. So I got to have the joy to birth my beautiful second blonde head that you're seeing here on the picture. That always makes me smile. And during that year, I did my master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, where we study how the mind works, how we're programmed. And I also did my yoga teacher training. And from that, it was kind of the exponential growth where I worked less in corporate. So I was in medical device, but in marketing at the time. So I started working part-time for that and starting coaching and teaching yoga on the side. And then little by little, I more space for that passion. And now I moved to another city. We were in Sydney, now we're in Brisbane, and created a life where I have lots of space and I can create. And now I'm doing a lot more yoga teaching and a lot more coaching and a lot less corporate work. I have my consulting business for medical device that I still really much enjoy, and I'm happy and glad to share all the knowledge I have in that, but on my terms, my schedule and all that. So I really created a wholesome life where I feel vital when I wake up in the morning. I have my practices that I do every morning and every day. I have time for myself. I'm taking singing lessons. I have time for my kids. I have time for my husband. And I feel I have a purpose in life within all those roles as mothers, as a wife, as friend, but also within my work where I really feel I have a true meaning to help women, and I'm very passionate to bring and support women in their transition, evolution to an authentic self, because we need women to rise and shine. We need that in the world right now. We need more of that feminine energy, compassionate leadership, all of that. So this wholesome life, I wish it for everybody. I wish it for men. I wish it for women. I wish it for every single human being on the planet. And with all this learning, I'm here and I created this program to share it. And I'm starting with women because these women are the one that keeps me agitated at night, where I do not, I'm really hurt seeing women injustices on women and the imbalance that we have today in society, in the corporate world, in Western society, very deep, and violence in other part of the world, deep injustice. And I'm really passionate to help women at that stage. So here is my program, Fearlessly Yourself, where you see the tiger coming in the logo, and taming that tiger to really The program is really raising our mind to a level of consciousness and awareness above and beyond that we are at today, within and connected to a very healthy and vital body to create an authentic and wholesome life. So everything being connected, there are pillars in the program which links mindset, movement, nutrition, and self-care. So in the mindset part, we look at how we've been programmed. So through neuro-linguistic programming coaching, so one-on-one coaching. So for the first 7 years of our life, we take program on from our culture, from our society we live in, from our parents, our sister, our environment, all of that. We program ourselves basically to protect ourselves, to bring love, to, the way we've interpreted that we need to be to gain love and to avoid fear. So we have those programs in our mind that are set in those first 7 years of our life. And what we do in neuro-linguistic programming is we look at how they run you today, those that are running you and not serving you today. Some might serve you again, still as an adult, but a lot of them will not, and then they're running you subconsciously. You're just reacting instead of being able to respond. So we do that. We take the time to look at all those patterns and go back and reframe and release those that are not serving you, release the limiting beliefs, and so on, so that you can create your authentic, fearless self. In the movement part of the program, we start moving throughout the week, throughout the day. And why is that? Because movement is so important. It's so much part of health. It's part of living happy, living long. Movement is primordial. We're meant to move as human. We've not created to stay seated the whole day in front of a computer. We haven't evolved that much yet. So we need to move. So we create sustainable habits in terms of creating movement in the body. One of those being yoga. So yoga is an amazing practice that I've started and discovered about 15 years ago, that I've never moved out, because it brings sanity in my mind. It brings this connection with the mind and body. And that's a practice that is quite unique in that aspect. So we bring yoga into the program. And then in the nutrition part of the program, so we are what we eat and what we think as well, and how we move. But what we eat is very primordial to how we're going to feel, and our moods, our health, our vitality. It really regulates our hormones, and it's basically, keep us in a state of feeling vital and feeling good with the rest. So everything is connected, but this is one of the pillar, one of the bases. So we look at the relationship with food. We look at how what you eat and so on, and create some changes in that part of the program. And the last part of the program is self-care. And self-care is so, so important, because it's basically self-love. It's a moment where you tell your subconscious, I am serious. I am committed in loving myself unconditionally. I am committed to myself. I am committed to slow down and discover and really bring self-love. So taking the moment within the day, within the week, within the month, to show self-care, self-love to yourself. Bring joy and play and creativity in your life. So there are 4 themes in the programs that we move through. And they're progressive, they're building on each other. So the first 3 weeks of the program is to discover yourself, to dig into your patterns, your personality, to dig into your limiting beliefs, your values, so that are kind of competing. And we really go deep into bringing awareness throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the 3 weeks, to all of those that are showing up, all the triggers and so on. So that we can move on to this next stage, with it, the letting go period, where we release limiting beliefs, patterns that are not serving you today. We release and let go of negative attachments to relationships that do not serve us anymore. So it doesn't mean we shut off, relationship. We actually simply bring the relationship to a healthy stage. So we do that, and during that part of letting go, we start our nutritional detox, where we let go. Nutritionally, we really release a lot of things in the body as well as the mind. And then we move to the next stage, which is the beautiful stage of we crack our heart open, we bring love, we awaken the divine feminine. So in our society today, the masculine has been valued. So feminine has been demeaned, and we need to rebalance that. It's not that we want to crush the masculine, we just want a balance of the feminine and the masculine in every person. So you have feminine side and masculine side. We want to say the feminine side is beautiful, is powerful, is amazing. So all this sensual, this creative, this intuitive side that has been kind of pushed on the side in the last, I cannot even say how many, maybe centuries, we need to bring it back up so that we can have a balance and feel authentic, finally finding our truth. And that's the next stage of the program, where we go into awakening to a meaningful life. And we look at, in that state where we release, where we let go, where we are aware, where we awaken, we can now create. And that's the last stage of the program, awakening to meaning. So an example of what you can expect in week 1 would be, in each pillar, we have something to do, plus the learning, which is the last column here. So for example, the first week we would go into looking at our life, circle of life. We set our intention. We take a snapshot of where we would like to be and where we are at. In yoga, we do connect to our bodies. That's the base chakra, and so on. In the next pillar of nutrition, we start bringing awareness to emotion and the meaning behind the food we eat and how we eat it. We start daily practices, and we have some teachings in the first week. And we have that for every single week of the program, 12 weeks. We have a setup structured for every week that is still flexible, in the sense that you can, what we'll discover in coaching, this will also change how we kind of set the program specifically for you. But there is still a good structure and a plan and a progression within the program. So what is inside the program? So first, you get one-on-one coaching sessions. So depending on the packages you're choosing, you have 6 to 12 coaching sessions within the program, plus weekly follow-ups. So this is one-on-one coaching session that I use neuro-linguistic programming and mindfulness techniques to really come, to dig into those programs, to release those patterns, to bring awareness to what's driving you today and what doesn't serve you anymore, and so on. So we get into that. The next inclusion is up to 6 semi-private yoga sessions. So it is with me online on Zoom. So you don't have to be in Brisbane necessarily. I do a lot of online yoga, and so on Zoom and or in my studio in Brisbane. So you get a very, very tight group, only from Fearlessly Yourself women from the program. And we move through the different energy center that we're working on specifically for that week of the program. So we work with the chakra, with the elements, we work with the breath. It's a beautiful, spiritual, connected practice that really will enliven you. And then we have our 30-day nutrition challenge. So when we start the let go process, we also detox our body. And that is creating, really looking at removing a lot of toxin in your diet for 30 days. So it's not necessary for the rest of your life, but really creating a basis, detoxing, giving your body a chance to rest and to let go of toxins and to bring nourishing food full of vitamins, full of nutrients, and create, sustaining you the whole day so that you don't have those blood sugar drop and high, and really no more cravings and so on. So we bring that into a challenge, and then we continue after that with a nutrition plan. Every week you'll get a weekly e-booklet where you get the goal of the week. You get the home practice for the week, so you'll have your journaling to do, what you need to think about, the meditation. You'll have the learning of the week. You'll have the list of different articles, inspiration, videos to read. So you get that every week. As bonus, you can come to my weekly group yoga classes online in Zoom or in the studio in Tingalpa in Brisbane for free as complimentary. You can come and connect with a diverse and like-minded woman in my Fearlessly Yourself private page. You get, and that's really more than a bonus, a discount on different holistic and modalities. So those are practices and self-care and really release practices and growth practices that I practice myself with all those beautiful partners I'm partnering in this program with, that have generously agreed to give discounts for the women in the program, so that you can try techniques such as acupuncture, massage, lifeline technique, very powerful, I do it often, the emotional freedom technique, amazing, Reiki, sound therapy. So you have a selection of things you can try on at a discounted price every month. And then I send you a customized book of goodies, organic, plant-based, that I think will really also change your life in many ways. Maybe self-care, maybe something you're struggling with that something can help you with. So just creating a little box of goodies specialized to your needs. So I know a lot of you are busy. So how much time do I need how much time do you need in the program? So every day I'm asking you to do a little practice, a gratitude practice in the morning, a meditation, a journaling. And then 3 to 5 times a week, I ask you to move. So that's including the yoga with me. And once a week or a fortnight, depending on the package you choose, you get coached. And it's an hour one-on-one coaching, or an hour and a half for the first session, and the last session we take a little longer. So I was very honored and blessed and humbled to work with those 3 beautiful beings that you're seeing here on the screen. So you don't have to really hurt your eyes to try to read what's on the screen. You can go on the website, fearlesslyyourself.com, to look at those feedback in more details. I wanted to highlight just how humbled and rewarding it was to see them grow in every part of their life, to see them be able to be more confident, to accept themselves, to love themselves, to clear old patterns from childhood, to bring and step up and in every part of their life and feeling more vital. So that was very humbling. They're just finishing the program now. We're August 2020, so they're finishing their 3 months, and it's been an honor to work with them. So my next start day, so there's 3 months intake for each of the program, and the next one is Monday, September 14th. I will take up to 10 participants per trimester. So this one coming up, if you like to book in the next steps or to learn more, The next step is to come to my website and to book yourself into a complimentary discovery call. So that is the next step, because then in that next step, I show you prices. But it's not just that. We actually discuss, and we actually see if we're a good match, if the program is a good match for you, if we're a good match for each other, and we discuss all of that in that 30-minute complimentary discovery call. I am truly passionate about women's empowerment. I believe in my heart that we need women to rise and shine today, to bring on their beautiful, authentic, feminine sides so that we can have a better world. So come and join me in that journey and book your complimentary call with me to discover more about the program. Thank you. A big thank you for coming and listening to this presentation with infinite love and gratitude.